Hello, all my BEA friends. I'm Dr. Tom Halak from Kansas State University, where I'm an associate professor and teach television broadcasting. Today, what I want to talk to you about is just give you a quick demo about how you can create and edit your own captions. So let's go ahead and get started right away. I'm going to share my screen with you here. So we're all probably familiar with YouTube's captioning. You may know that they are not particularly accurate. And one of the things that we're concerned about with our captions is accuracy. However, YouTube is a good starting point. And we can go in and edit their captions and improve upon what they have done instead of building from scratch. So you need to be signed into your own YouTube page or a page that you have administrative rights over. This is our news page, Channel 8 News. It's our umbrella organization where we produce a couple of different weekly shows. And one of those shows is MHK All Day. This is our episode from April 3rd of 2020. And we're just going to go ahead and use that. You'll notice that I'm in the function to allow me to edit the video right down here in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, edit video. And you will see that over on the left-hand column right here, there's a series of icons. They're down at the very bottom. There's a subtitles icon. We're going to select that. And now that we're in here, you can see a file that is the captions that YouTube has created for us. And we're going to go ahead and grab that. So over on the right-hand side where you see the options menu, we're going to select the options menu, and you'll see one of those options is download. So we're going to go ahead and download that file. And you can see it doesn't take very long, drops it right in here for us. And it is called Captions SBV. Okay, that's the caption format that YouTube provides, is an SBV file. I'm going to go ahead and drag that into my folder here. Oops, I got one already with that name. We'll replace it. So that YouTube provides an SBV file, but that file format is not recognized by Adobe Premiere. So we're going to want to go in and convert that to an SRT file, which is what Adobe will recognize. So to first start that process, I just do it with a little handy converter that you find online. This particular one is captionconverter.com. There's several out there. This is just the one I happen to use. So right here, I'm just going to choose my file, Captions SBV, choose, and it wants to be an SRT file, and I want it to be an SRT file. So that works out great. We can convert it to a few other file formats, but SRT is the one that I want, so I'm going to convert. This also goes pretty quickly. There you have it. Here, I'm going to find some gibberish type of file name. There it is. It's got a long, weird file name, but you'll notice it is an SRT file. So from this point, if I wanted to, I could change the name, like I have down here. I could change the name of that file to match the name of my program. Let's go ahead and open up Premiere now. And if you're not using Premiere, but you're using some other format, and that's fine also. I'm going to go ahead and import my caption file now. And you'll see it goes right into your media browser bin. By the way, I was in my media browser when I imported that. And it's right there, and it works pretty much like any other clip. There's some restrictions to that, but for the most part, it works just like any other clip. So I want to make sure that this is on my very top video track. So if I'm editing multi-layer items, so forth, say this was a documentary, I'm laying in my lower thirds or other elements like that. I've got 2 or 3 or 4 or more tracks. I want to make sure that my caption track is on the very top track. In this case, I don't have multiple layers, so I'll just drop it right on here on V2, and there you can see my captions. That's great and all, except those are really teeny, right? So if I double click on this, I'm going to have this captions window pop up, and it looks like this. I'm going to move this over here. And in this captions window, you're going to see all sorts of editing functions similar to what you would see in a Word file, something like that. We can change our font type, we can change our font size, spacing, all sorts of things. So first of all, we know that we want that a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go in here. Each of these sections here are a caption bubble. So if we zoom in to our timeline, a little too far, here we see multiple caption bubbles, okay? And they correspond to each of these smaller windows here. You can see there's an in time. First one starts right at 0, and an out time. That one lasts about 2.5 seconds. So it's got the time code right on there, so you know exactly where those bubbles are at. So if I'm going to select multiples, in this case, I'd probably want to select all of them, because what I'm going to do is change the font size from 18. I'm going to go quite a ways up, probably to about 48 or so. There you see it's changed size. It's exactly what we want it to do. You'll also notice that this is offset to the right-hand side. That's fine if that's the logical place for your captioning to be, but sometimes that is not the logical place. If it's covering up some other essential element in your project, then you may want to move it. So we can go right over here. You'll see that in this caption window, here's my alignment, and you'll see that it is actually aligned centered, but it doesn't look like it over here. And that is because it's aligned centered for the quadrant of the clip or the window that it's been assigned to. That's where this little icon right here comes in, and where we can reassign the quadrant. So you'll see 9 different quadrants for our captioning. I want mine on the lower third and center. So I'm just going to click that box, and you'll see our text move right there. So now our text is pretty much readable. I can do a variety of other things with that. I can come over to my text and I can change the color. Let's say I wanted a bright yellow instead of white. There, it changes it to yellow. We can also put a background behind it, or rather an outline around it. If I wanted to be really obnoxious, I'd put a red outline. Okay, that's horrible. So let's change it back to black. Most of the time, you don't want to get very complicated with your caption text. You want to keep it clean, simple, easy to read. So that's what I've done. I can also, if I have captions that are on multiple lines, now you look right here, there are multiple lines, but they're stacked on top of each other. So I'm going to come to this one, and I'm going to actually increase my line spacing. And we're not seeing it over here, but I think we are seeing it in our preview window. Oh, we've got to get it over there. That will increase your spacing so that it's more legible. So you can adjust that right there. Oh, I'm sorry, the line spacing right in here. Bring that up a little bit. Okay, we'll just say that works. I can go ahead and close this window, or I can keep it open. But then what I'm going to do is go into my timeline here, and I can adjust the timing on these caption bubbles. So we can actually read the text there if you're really good. Today on MHK all day, while you're Riley, that's all it fits in that particular bubble. And that's because caption bubbles are restricted to about 32 characters per line. So let's listen to that.
Today on MHK all day, while you're Riley.
So that one is pretty good. I like to keep my bubbles pretty closely aligned to the spoken text. This one I'm actually see that it's duplicated, so I'm going to delete that one. And then I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to slide it right over. And that one we did not change the color on.
Today on MHK all day, all your Riley County and Kansas updates on the.
So you can see that, well, if we could read that, which we normally would be able to, then we'll go through the whole timeline and we can adjust those bubbles. We can move them, we can extend them, we can shorten them on either end. So whatever you need to do to adjust those so that they align correctly, and you do that through your entire project. Once you've reached that point, then we're going to want to export our project. And we can do that in two different types of exports. If we export it as a QuickTime file, what it's going to do, it's going to burn those captions right into the screen. You'll have one file with the captions, and they're ready to go. If you're going to broadcast your production on a broadcast station, that station is more than likely going to want the caption file separate. And so I'm going to show you how to export that. We're going to go now under File and Export, just like we would normally export a regular video. And in this setting, you're going to notice there are several tabs down here. I'm going to select Captions. Let me extend this out a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Here's our captions selected, and here's our export option. So here's the burn captions into video that I was talking about. And then also down here, we can create a sidecar file. That's what they're called when they're a separate file for captions. That's what most broadcast stations are going to want. So just select your sidecar file, and then you would set up your export settings for your video just the same. And I'm also going to want to check my file format right here. The BEA2020 is for European type files, and the subret is more of the NTSC type of format that creates an SRT file that we were using earlier. So I've got those settings all taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and hit export. It will only export the captions at this point, and then we can go back later and export our video, so forth. This one's going to take a while. We'll just let it do its thing, and we'll come back to that. That's quickly how you would take care of your captions, and I hope that's helpful. It's pretty quick. There is some more additional information that you can find pretty easily on the web. So go and search some instructions, use this little video tutorial side by side, and hopefully you can get your captions done. Thanks so much, and best to everyone.